Hello. Okay. I'm filming all of some things that I'm thinking of of a spiritual nature. Like I shared in other videos, and this is another one that came to mind. And that is that I was kind of I kind of there's part of me that does not want to share this because I don't want to give you expectations because the expectations can ruin the way things can happen to us sometimes if we're hear other stories. But I feel like I just want to share this. So my friend that had passed away that I had discussed in another video, um, my spiritual friend, he was ahead of me sometimes on things that he was learning, and he had learned about something called Reiki, and now it's like even more. This was like probably 2000. It was in 2006. That's when it was. I was journaling by then, so now I've got dates. Now I've got times. I believe February 6th of 2006. I think I've got that date right, or maybe it was February 2nd or 4th. Oh, February 4th of 2006. I think that's what it was. Okay, so um, he had arranged with somebody to do a completely different Reiki thing at the time. This person was going to come to his girlfriend's house, my friend, and was going to be able to take 6 people and do a Reiki attunement. It's called an attunement. And we had a lot of people in our group that were of different spiritual healing modalities, like connected in our group. But I don't know if maybe he purposely kept that seat open for me or what, but at the time I'm thinking, okay, so you're trying to tell me that this lady is going to charge us $50 each for her to come here and do something to us that's called an attunement that I wasn't understanding, and I think I was refusing to understand because I already heard $50 and we're going to get taken advantage of here. And then I think I shut down after that, which is kind of strange for me because normally I'm open about things and who it was coming from. I thought he had lost his mind. I thought, what, because he was frugal too. I'm a frugal person. And, like I couldn't believe he was saying that I thought he'd lost his mind. So a couple weeks later, maybe even a few weeks later, when this was actually supposed to happen, I'm very much so into synchronicities and messages and feeling led to do something because of synchronicities. And the day before he was supposed to do this, that was back in the flip phone days when Verizon, which was Cellular One, I think, or AirTouch at the time, they were sending rebates out. Remember, we used to get that awesome rebate for a new phone, and that was before phones costed the amount of a laptop. But the day before this was supposed to happen, and maybe it was even the day of, that part I don't remember, but I got this $50 check from Verizon in the mail. And I took that as a sign. He still had one seat open for this thing that we were doing. And I took that as a sign that seat was meant for me. So I decided to go ahead and do this with him. So what happened was the girl came. Oh, and it was different in the way that I don't even think you're supposed to do it this way, but it was a one-stop shop. Like we were paying $50 to be with her for a couple hours. And in this couple hours, she was going to do this attunement. And when they give you the attunement, you do it in different levels. And this one, though, she was going to do everything, and you're not supposed to, but master symbols, there are symbols that are put into your aura, or they call it a biofield now. And these symbols, now that I know what I know about symbols and characters and stuff and how God created the universe and everything, and just biblically and science, I'm a biblical science kind of person. They only seek to prove each other, make that clear. That basically there are symbols that they use that you can read about it. Reiki, Reiki. Anyway, I still was a little bit skeptical about this. Whatever. But what we did is in 2 different groups, 3 of us in one and 3 of us in the other. We were basically getting our attunements in groups of 3s. There were 6 of us. And I'm pretty certain there were 6, but I can't remember who that 6th person was. And I'm pretty sure there was only 1 seat open. So, anyways, um, so she's playing music, which I've tried to know what the music was even, but I can't get her to respond to me now. I don't even know if she still has that email address. It took me so long to ask the questions. I wish I would come up with questions sometimes right when something happens. She gave us journals that we would pick. And I picked a one that has a rose on it, which I'm not normally like into roses or anything like that. And there's a whole, like, there's too much for right now. But the reason why, the fact that I picked this pink rose journal, it's not even my style, but okay. So she's playing this music in the background. Our eyes are closed. She has us in a receiving position. I remember with our hands, I think we were open to receive. And that's the energy that we were supposed to stay in and keep, is that we were receiving. And I think I kept repeating receive to myself. And it's a receiving posture. So I've got my arms open. I got my hands open and they're on my lap and eyes closed. I start seeing things in my mind's eye. I know it's my mind's eye now, like a projection screen, and I see things. I saw the silhouette of Abraham Lincoln. I saw, which when I asked other people, like, what do you think that silhouette would be? Of course it's Abraham Lincoln, the stove, what do you call a stovepipe? The hat, and they said Mr. Peanut, which I thought was just hilarious because I didn't even think about that. I'm surprised I didn't. But anyways, I know it was Abraham Lincoln because I love Abraham Lincoln and I have a thing with him. He was very mystical, by the way, if you ever read about him. I think that's why he actually predicted his own death. And if you don't know that, it's a very interesting read if you're interested in that kind of stuff. He was very mystical, and he was very much so into God. But I saw a white figure in white light, complete white light figure standing there. I saw green light, and it was like it was green, and then when it was pink too, it was like a light was coming from my head projecting out in front of me, these things that I'm seeing. And the green light, I feel like, was just a green ball of color, but the pink light was doing this. It was like, later on I would study it because that opened up something on me, like and her, my other spiritual friend that was with the male that passed away. Like, I don't want to use their names right now, but because they didn't give me permission to. So stuff was happening with her too. I could feel it, but I remember opening my eye to make sure she wasn't doing anything like to make that happen, because I couldn't believe what was happening. But the big thing, and this is why I said I was apprehensive about making this video, is because I didn't have any expectations. As a matter of fact, I was going into it a cynic. And I feel like that's the times, if you ever think about the times when you think you're going to go out and have a great time, and then you're like, wow, that sucked. And then there were other times where you felt like, I don't really feel like going out, but I'm going to do it for someone else or whatever. And that was one of the best nights ever. It was like kind of like one of those things. And I just didn't want to ruin it for anyone else. But again, she did something completely different in the way that she did it. And where she, gave us these master symbols and stuff that you're not supposed to get all at once like that. And so I saw that thing looked like a flower, which later I would study and find out flower of life. Like, all of this stuff is connected, and it's amazing, and it is real. All of this stuff is real, and I know what happened to me. So, and then I might be forgetting something. Oh, the eye. I saw an eye with a pyramid. I saw the pyramid thing, and I've studied like that all out and stuff now, and it's just amazing. Those things that I saw, they all make sense for other spiritual things that they say and that are out there. Like, so Reiki is, I feel like it's, well, here's that guy, I don't want to use the wrong words or terms. Just read about it. He's Dr. Usui, and he saw visions and stuff, and that's where the symbols came from and everything. And I did later go on to take the real course and go through, and that's how I met that's how I met another very spiritual friend from a very godly side. And she's was a Reiki master practitioner level, and I have my Reiki master practitioner level. Now I don't really do Reiki. I don't like that. Now what they tell you, Reiki is not about a specific religion or anything like that. It's basically whatever spiritual thing you're coming from already at that time, you're going to grow closer in that. And I did. I mean, I can't even like say enough how much that's the next. I mean, I couldn't go to sleep after that night. I was like, my mind was racing. All of a sudden, I was really drawn to Egyptian and Greek mythology. I was like a sponge that could not get enough absorbing. I was reading Aristotle and understanding it. And like from the time that I was young, I've always had these gifts that are more of like the creative nature, the common sense, the spiritual side. My brother's testing borderline genius, and here I am, like, learning at whatever age that liquid stays in a straw. Like, hey, that is really cool. And we both went to Catholic schools at that time, and I'm definitely not a Catholic anymore. I'm not into Catholicism. I'm not into religion at all. But yeah, so um, I don't know. This was an amazing experience, but basically, what I was saying with the whole Catholic school thing is that it's known that when you go to a Catholic school, you're learning stuff that like the public schools are like, they're not on the same level. They can't even compete. You might be learning stuff that you learned in the second grade and the fifth grade, and that's not a bang or anything on anything. That's just how it is. Catholic schools are, it's a better education. And but I wanted to throw that out there and share. Oh, another part of that actually that I almost forgot about. Other part of that was they wanted someone to get on the table, the Reiki table. Um, they wanted someone to get on the table, and what they were going to do was she called it drag, like dragging down from the top until you could feel my energy field. And the guy that passed away, I'm going to go ahead and use his name because he passed away now, so it can't affect him anyway, but his name was Wyatt, and God love him, rest in peace. And but I don't know if they're resting, but anyways, he specifically said, they call me Turner. I tend to get called Turner a lot by guys because of my personality sometimes. I'm working on it. But he said, I want Turner on the table. That's who I want I want her. And so I was like, all right, normally I'm not one to be like center of attention or anything, but since he was asking me to do it, I did it. He just had that way. He has this way. But I got on the table and they were doing the drag thing, and I saw their hands at the same time. They were doing it the same speed. I saw their hands go through my energy field. I saw it, and later she'd asked, where did you feel it start? And where they said it was exactly where I saw it. And to this day, I still want to get on a table and have people do this, but I don't know if it depends. I don't know if we were already so attuned and into spirit in that room and in that moment because of what just happened before, like the thing that she did. I've asked questions about it till this day, but I've never been able to get, like, I asked her some questions right afterwards and she came right back to me. That's why I don't even know if I know her email address anymore. And when I had the Reiki things, the different attunements done the other ways, not much really happened, but some things happened that I'll share at some point, I'm sure. But it was nothing like this. I mean, I definitely saw, and it was like that. It was like that clear stuff again, like I'm talking about. I saw their hands go through it. And so we definitely have these things, and they call them biofields now. I think it's kind of like the scientific people that believe in like the spiritual stuff and everything. I think they've said, let's get away from the word aura, and let's use this word biofield because it sounds more scientific, and maybe then they'll be more accepting of like this thing. But it's a scientific fact that we have this field of energy around us. And like I said, science only continues to catch up with biblical notions. And my studying the Bible and reading and learning the Bible actually is what's given me like these scientific things come to my head that there's just no way that I should know them. I mean, my grades in school were mediocre at best. Always was kind of like a slow learner, but now, like, I don't know, there was something that happened, and that was in 2006, right? 2006, that we had that Reiki attunement. And so that's just a story about Reiki attunements. And again, it was a different kind of attunement. So I don't, and I don't even like, if you do end up doing Reiki and you do your attunements, don't expect anything. Like try to just let go of everything, because it happens different. There was one person there, nothing happened. I think maybe two or three, but it seemed in our little group, the one girl, she saw a yellow color. I believe the girl that my spiritual, the close one, I believe I remember her hands going up at some point. And when neither of us that night, I spent the night with her. We couldn't sleep. We couldn't get enough about studying. And that's how I learned, oh my gosh, that is what I saw. It was the flower of life. It was, and I have a feeling this Reiki stuff I learned, it's like Hinduism. It's kind of linked into like some Hinduism thoughts and, stuff, like the India, more of an India kind of thing. And I believe in all that stuff because that was before we had the Bible. That was before, well, I mean, I don't know if we had the Bible for the Old Testament by then, but those people knew things they shouldn't have known. And I think it's because they were more spiritual, and they were learning from being from within, so that's my story about Reiki. And I can't give you the girl's name. I don't even know. I know her name was, I don't really want to give her name because I don't know if she was supposed to do things the way that she did them. And I don't want to harm anything that she did because it was a great thing for me. And I agree with people doing what they want to do in the spiritual moment. And I don't think there should be rules around it. But that's why I will not give her name. And I don't even have a way to contact her anymore anyway, because she didn't answer my last email from, I think it was like last year. And I really wanted to find out some answers to some questions, but she didn't answer me. So if you're wondering about Reiki and what attunement is, like an aligning with the spirit, I'm learning, and like attune, like frequencies, like if you pay attention, like all that stuff, like just, it's definitely spiritual, and there's definitely some validity to it. And it opened me up completely. I mean, it opened my third eye. I'm pretty sure that's what happened there with me. It opened my third eye. I saw the eye in the triangle. And that's actually the symbol for your third eye. And just the fact that I was understanding things, and now I'm reading things and understanding these concepts, these spiritual concepts. And I had already been starting a journey the past 2 years reading the Bible, and the scriptures were already open to me at that point. Everything was just flowing together like it does when you're walking in spirit. So anyways, have a great day today. And that's my Reiki story.